Even though Cheeto Mussolini, known as Trump, lost the election about a year ago, the Republicans are still trying to buy his unwanted love. Donald Trump may no longer hold elected office, but Republican candidates are still paying homage, literally, which I don't see why. Trump's private companies clocked more than 100. I'm sorry, they clocked more than 1.46 million in revenue from the GOP candidates and committees in 2021, according to data compiled by the Center for Responsive Politics. The total represents a steep drop over the previous 4 years. Trump's first year Trump's first year of not squatting in the White House looks a lot like his first year in office when he was squatting, and it comes at a perilous time when the former squatters' profits are hurting and prosecutors appear to be sharpening their knives. But still more significant than the overall drop is where the decline came from. About $660 of the 1.46 million came from Trump's own political committees, but the majority flowed in from the National Party and GOP candidates who spent a combined $808,000, mostly on fundraisers at the Republican Queenmakers various properties. They didn't get much of a return, but Trump gave Republicans only $205,000 that was shared among 41 different candidates. And that's a change because when it comes to and that's a huge change, but because when it comes to Trump lining his own pockets, Trump's own committees have always led the way. Um, over the full 2020 election cycle and covering both 2019 and 2020, Trump's political operation spent about $5.6 million at his own properties, according to data from the Center for Responsive Politics, with other Republican outfits kicking in about 1.7 million. And all Trump's committees have cycled nearly $22 million in donor money back to his own businesses since he announced his squadrency back in 2015, with his GOP allies adding another approximately 5 million. But when Trump was kicked out as a squatter, however, those numbers highly plummeted. Trump's committee spent more than $1.1 million at his businesses solely in the weeks running up to the November election, and nearly double the total across all of 2021. Trump also saw a decline in the number of people paying up. In 2021, a combined 75 elected officials, candidates, and committees cut the Trump checks. The majority came in the second half of the year as a slate of new candidates lined up to curry favor with the twice impeached squatter of the Republican Party. Um, by comparison, though, in 2020, 177 federal committees patronized the Trump-owned businesses, according to ProPublica data. Now, while the dubious honor of the biggest 2021 payment went to the Republican National Committee, $176,000 in expenses went to the Mar-a-Lago donor getaway last ring. The second largest single check by far came from a new candidate. That would be Trump's longtime fake friend Herschel Walker, who launched his Georgia Senate bid in August. And 3 months later, the Trump-endorsed football star splurged on $135,510 fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. Now, new candidates like Walker had rivaled the incumbent Trump allies in spending across the board. 7 of the 13 candidates who spent at least 5 figures in Trump world last year have never held federal office. Along with Walker, they include Ohio Senate hopeful Josh Mandel, Trump White House doctor, who basically lied saying that Trump was 139 pounds or something like that, or 239, which he's fatter than that, turned Texas congressional candidate Ronnie Jackson. Peter Thiel, background Arizona Senate candidate Blake Masters, Alabama gubernatorial challenger and Trump's former ambassador to Slovenia, Linda Blanchard, and Kelly Toshiba, Shabaka, who's taken on the Trump target Senator Lisa Murkowski in the Alaska Republican primary. Now, Jackson's campaign brought about $337 million worth of copies of Trump's coffee table book. The books are published by his own son Don Jr.'s company, and they retail for $75 unsigned and $230 if they're signed. Which who the fuck would want to read crap like that? At least that list was topped by Anna Paulina Luna, a Florida congressional aspirant who landed a Trump endorsement in September. Now, within months, Luna's campaign committee and Trump-aligned joint fundraising committee had shelled out more than $42,000 at Mar-a-Lago. Now, 3 of the incumbent officials who spent more than $10,000 are aspiring to a new office: Mel Brooks of Alabama, Ted Budd of North Carolina, and Missouri's Billy Long. All 3 objected to Trump's 2020 election defeat, and all hope to be and they're hoping to level up to the Senate in November. Now, those payments are far less notable than one particular Republican, however. In October, Representative Greg Pence had spent Greg Pence spent $2,100 on a Halloween dinner at BLT Prime, which is a restaurant in Trump's D.C. hotel. And Pence is the older brother of the former Vice Squatter Mike Pence, whom Trump sycophants threatened to hang during the January 6 riots, and whom Trump has continued to target. Now, notably, neither of the 2 official GOP congressional political committees threw much cash Trump's way. Only the National Republican Senatorial Committee cut a check for $2,544 at BLT Prime. But while the spending in aggregate broke in favor of Trump's sycophants, his biggest single benefactor did not change: his old campaign committee. Now, that entity, redubbed "Make America Hate Again," injected $450,000 into Trump's businesses last year. Trump's Destroy America PAC chipped in another $181,000, and the two Trump-backed super PACs, Make America Hate Again Action and Make America Hate Again Again, spent a combined $33,000 on fundraisers at the Trump Golf resorts in Bedminster, New Jersey, and Palm Beach, Florida. The majority of Trump's political profit last year, which was $375,000 of it, came in the form of 10 $37,542 checks. And his old campaign committee made out to Trump Tower Commercial LLC in New York, where the committee allegedly still maintains offices. The rate hasn't dropped since Trump left office, suggesting that the committee is still at least paying for it, if not occupying it, the same square footage it held at the height of the 2020 campaign. Now, but this year, those checks all went into a curious destination, which wasn't Trump Tower, but to a P.O. box in Hicksville, New York, a suburban Long Island town nearly an hour drive from the flagship building's and Fifth Avenue address. The rent checks have wandered over the years between Trump Tower and Hicksville, seemingly at random, and the mailbox has been the subject of a speculation. It sits a short distance from the Trump Organization's longtime accounting firm, Mazars USA, where one of his own personal accountants has worked for decades. Last week, Mazars had dropped the Trump Organization as a client, saying that Trump's financial statements are not reliable, which they're not, so yeah. So basically, if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. And you could also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And you could also, and if you want to support my work even further, I have a Patreon link where you could click. You can find that on the About section on my YouTube channel. And if you want to support the work even further, you could donate to the channel. And then it would further the channel and support. So I hope you guys listen and enjoyed.